Hey, business owners, big welcome to this edition of Futurize Your Business interview series. If you're watching for the first time on this channel, please press the subscribe button below and do not forget to press like and leave a comment at the end of this session. With me today is Orville Tagud. Orville runs Greater Visuals. Greater Visuals is a video production agency. They have done some amazing work for NetStripes already. They come and do all the video for our Bizruption events. You may have already met Orville if you do come for Bizruption. But more than that, when COVID happened and NetStripes had to take all our events and make them into webinars, Orville offered to come to NetStripes and help us to run these webinars even better than what we were doing. So I'm absolutely grateful for Orville to joining us today, and I want to pick Orville's brain on video production and how he can help small and medium businesses. Orville, big welcome.
Thank you, Dinesh. Hi, everyone. And I'm so excited to be part of this new series. Thank you, Dinesh, for having us.
Orville, firstly, tell us about your business and how you help small and medium businesses.
Yep. So I am the managing director and head videographer at Greater Visuals. And essentially, to help businesses succeed in this digital landscape, what we do is we help businesses amplify their message to build instant trust and credibility. There are three key benefits that we do that. The first one is we help businesses elevate their webinars and virtual events using professional live streaming. Second, we help businesses deliver their services online with video courses. And finally, we help businesses stand out from their competition using that branded content. So essentially, we help businesses solve business problems using the power of video.
Fantastic. And video has become so vital these days, especially as a medium of messaging, because all the social platforms make sure that videos are seen more in their algorithms, and also because there's greater engagement, isn't it, Orville?
That's absolutely right. I think, with the advent of video being much more affordable than it was 10, 20 years ago, it's a great opportunity now for businesses to really think about how would they amplify their message online using the tools that they have. And video is readily available and very powerful.
Orville, I know you came for a digital boot camp we ran. This is, of course, about a year ago in the pre-COVID era. And that was about you wanting to get more knowledge. But, most people who come to our digital boot camps tell us, I'm not as young as you are, Dinesh, or I'm not young anymore. And this digital stuff is so changing so much and so fast, and it's hard for us to keep pace with it. But you're very young. When you came for the boot camp, you were not even married. And I know you got married subsequently. Why did you come, and what did you gain from that session, Orville?
So I guess a bit of background for me. I actually qualified as a chartered accountant prior to doing my business as a videographer. And so not really having that knowledge of how to run a business was there for me. And so, in the lead up to leaving my job and starting this video production business full time, I understood from an early stage that I needed to surround myself with people that could think differently and really lead my business to where I needed it to be, or even encourage me to take it to where I couldn't even imagine. And so, approaching NetStripes was really an important step. But prior to that, it was actually my wife that introduced me to NetStripes. So she's a marketing professional herself. And so she attended one of the boot camps. And, I just remember her coming back and telling me about the amazing things that she heard and how it shifted her mindset about a lot of things marketing related. And so, I sort of came along and looked at it myself. And yes, there I was blown away by the expertise from what I've learned. And I've been a happy client of NetStripes now for the past year. And it's also been a great privilege to have NetStripes as our client, because we believe in the mission that you're doing. And we're also invested in helping businesses take advantage of this digital landscape that they have now. So that's us in a nutshell.
Thank you, Orville, for sharing that. Now, Michelle, who you're now married to, came for a digital boot camp that we ran. I think we ran it with the Blacktown Council during one of the small business months. And she was an absolute pleasure to have at that session, because those who don't don't know what this digital bootcamp is, it was a 2 day seminar that we ran that helped small and medium-sized businesses to come in and completely transform their knowledge of what they need to know how to run a business in this digital world, to get all the knowledge, but also to get the confidence so that they can operate strongly. Now, Michelle came for that session, and then, or as Orville mentioned, he came for another boot camp that we ran in the city of Sydney. I think we ran it with WeWork, if I remember right. Is that correct, Orville?
Hold on, your memory is incredible, Dinesh.
So that's awesome, because I remember you guys. I mean, we've had over 3,000 people attending the digital boot camp. But I want to tell everybody watching now, we've taken this digital boot camp and made it an online learning program. So in the past, people had to come and spend 2 days with us at a seminar. Now you can watch it from the comfort of your home, and it takes only 6 hours because we've condensed it, and we call it Futurise Foundation. Futurise meaning futurize your business, and foundation is to get that foundation knowledge. One thing I want to discuss with you, Orville, before you came, it was a fairly significant commitment of 2 days from your work. And as a small business owner, taking 2 days off is never easy, let alone taking a day off. How did you justify doing that? And if you can tell me, what were the real benefits you got from attending the boot camp?
To answer your first question, why I placed a lot of value into attending those boot camp is, firstly, I understand that, in this day and age, there's usually 2 ways to grow your business. You could either physically interact with a lot of your prospects, a lot of your leads, and convince them, why you're the best choice. Or you could really take a hold of this new digital landscape where the opportunity is immense. And so for me, it was a no-brainer. Yes, it is a bit of a change for a lot of business owners out there who are, I guess, quote unquote, aren't young, but really, instead of looking at what could hold you back from accessing and taking advantage of this digital landscape, I think really looking at those opportunities and what that world would open really is what really drove me as a business owner, regardless of what my age was. The second thing is, I really understood that while, yes, it was 2 days of my time, I understood that I needed to work on my business. I needed to take time away to actually look at my business in its entirety, look at my clientele, look at my target audience, and really assess where I could change, where I could improve. If you're, as they say, if you're looking down at your work, you're not really looking up at the horizon. And so for me, the investment of 2 days was really nothing compared to the exponential growth that I would experience and I have experienced after doing the boot camp. So in terms of the importance, that's what it would be. And to answer your second question, what would be the benefit to attending those boot camps? Number one, it's definitely allowed me to think differently. Coming in, listening to you, and I understand that it is now an online delivery, Dinesh. So I do miss, those dancing and stretching that we did. I think that's definitely memorable for me. But I do really valued being in the room and listening to, experts in the game that really allowed me to think differently about my business and my marketing infrastructure when it came to competing online, competing worldwide. The second thing is, apart from just being able to think differently, giving me an understanding of how would I brand myself differently? How would I actually take what I've learned and the new learnings that I've taken to actually applying it to my brand? How would I actually make myself stand out? How do I communicate that to my target audience? Who is my target audience? And a lot of those questions were answered in those 2 days. And so I took a heck of a lot of notes. I've been able to apply it. And here we are today. It's been amazing. And the final thing is, apart from just, coming up with the strategy, I've been able to use those tools to actually transform how I market. It's one thing to actually just take those notes, but it's another to actually have those practical tools to apply in your business. And so, while it was 2 days of my time, the value and the benefits were certainly there from creating a holistic digital.
Thank you so much, Orville, and thanks very much for that detailed explanation to my question. In fact, my 2 questions I asked in one go, and thanks for remembering and articulating it so well. Orville, when we introduced this Futurize program, or when we were even thinking of envisioning it, we spoke to you, you came and met us, and you did some amazing videos, and they were so cost effective as well, but they were super powerful. Now, lots of businesses don't realize how cost effective videos can be, because I think the technology has changed. What has really changed here? I don't want to make any assumptions.
I mean, apart from the fact that, the technology has decreased in price, making it readily accessible. Apart from the cost-effective nature of video, what businesses need to remember as well is the value that it brings and how that would impact, the number of leads that you get, the number of staff that you can train on an automatic basis. And so really, instead of just focusing on the cost aspect, I think I would just remind and encourage businesses to think about, okay, well, how can I use video to increase my revenue? How do I use video to save time when it comes to training? And I think that's where the real switch happens. And it's not so much about the cost, but more about the value that it brings your business.
Absolutely. The point I was trying to make is a lot of business owners tell me when I run these events that, Dinesh, how can we as a small business afford video? And that's the point I want to make. Absolutely. You're so right. It can help us to generate more revenue. It can help us to build more trust and confidence, as it has helped NetStripes. And some of those videos you did even for Bizruption, they were such high quality. We even had the federal minister for employment, small business and skills, commenting on the quality of them. Now, business owners sometimes are fearful because of the cost, and understandably so, because right now cash flow is a bit tight as well, isn't it?
Absolutely. And that's the fact, we do need to be mindful of the bottom line. We do need to be mindful of our budget. And what I would encourage business owners to think about is, well, what tools do they have right now, when it comes to creating video? And the answer is right here. It's a beautiful smartphone that you have. This shoots powerful video. And the reason why it is powerful is because of the message that you bring out. Not really about the technology. It's about getting your messaging right, getting your target audience really narrowed down so that when you pick up a camera, it's less about the technicality and it's more about that message that you're bringing out to the person that you want to speak to. Now, by all means, if you were to hire a video production business like Greater Visuals, we do come in with that expertise and that coaching and the technical aspect, but I wouldn't detract business owners from starting right now. And that's what I've been doing on LinkedIn, teaching business owners how to use your phone, how to use your webcam, and just getting your messaging right first before thinking about, I need this camera or I need to outsource this. Get your messaging right first, and the technical aspect will follow.
Orville, once you did the digital boot camp, I know you then joined us in this digital transformation roadmap we take businesses through to transition your business. And the next stage was that you sat down with one of our digital strategists and you redefined your strategy. Now, run us through that process. Tell us how long it took, what challenges you faced when you did that, and how easy or difficult was that?
So immediately after the boot camp, I was convinced. I made the decision to come in one of the advisory sessions, meet up with your advisors, Bawani, amazing. Hello, Bawani, if you're watching this video. And so what I loved about that process, coming to that advisory session, is it really gave me that peace of mind in terms of, yes, this is where I need to be, point B, and this is where I am currently right now in point A. What that session allowed me to do was really map out the steps that I needed to take to get from goal setting to goal achievement. And so for me, that was the real value. It gave me peace of mind knowing that, yes, I've got a solid process. I've got a holistic process that will take me to where I need to be. In terms of challenges, being transparent, I think, putting in the work to actually build that infrastructure is not easy, right? I mean, getting your messaging right, getting the images, get the visuals right isn't easy. But the great thing about NetStripes' process and that infrastructure that NetStripes has is it allowed me to kind of just see the goal in mind. And I knew that this work that I was doing in conjunction with NetStripes was going to lead me somewhere. And yes, there is work involved, but that your objectives will be met and that your goals will be met as well.
Fantastic. So you sat down with one of our digital strategists and you said you set your goals. Am I right, Orville? You set your goals and then you said you saw how you can do your roadmap from goal setting to goal achievement, and you charted a course to goal achievement. Is that correct, Orville, or is that the way you saw it?
That's absolutely right. I think, the idea of, creating a visual presence normally just looks like, oh, just make a website, and that was my thinking prior to coming to the bootcamp. Great. If you have a website, awesome, you're online. But that's far from the truth. You need a holistic process. You need your strategy set right first before you move forward, because you can spend so much money into developing a digital presence. But if you don't have that holistic process to get you from goal setting to goal achievement, you just have another website up that doesn't really work for you. And so,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Sorry, Orville, keep going. going.
No, that's yeah. So, being able to sit down with the advisor and having them take me through that process again just gave me that peace of mind, gave me that reassurance that I've got a process that I can follow and a process that will lead me to goal achievement.
Fantastic. So, if you're a business owner watching this, lots of business owners, when you think of digital, you think, I need to get a website, I need to do social media, I need to be on Facebook. But, but why are we doing this business is the first question we got to answer. Why did I start this business? And what Orville mentioned here was the way you got to start this process is by thinking, what's the financial goal I want to achieve? What's the vision I have for my business? And then from where you are today, you look at the financial figures, the revenue, the sales figures you have for today, and then you chart your course to achieving those financial goals. And your strategy is set so that then, as Orville said, that he had this peace of mind, knowing that there was a process, there's a structured way of going from goal setting to goal achievement. And your online branding, your strategy, your website, your social media are all function of that, because that's why we started a business to make sure that you have more money in a year's time than what you have today in your back pocket. You have more security, more financial security in a year's time than that you've had today. Ideally, you will have more time to do the stuff that you love doing from where you are today. And that's why you need a strategy. And that's why, as Orville said, you need a holistic process. So Orville, thank you for sharing that with us. Now tell us, how long did this whole process of strategy take?
I think from actually engaging with NetStripes, it took about a month and a bit to just get the strategy right. And for me, from memory, spending that time was very valuable to me because I knew that once we get this right the first time, the timing, wasn't really the biggest of an issue. I mean, yes, it's great that NetStripes understands that, we need to get out there, but I was more than happy to just spend the time to really get my strategy right, get my messaging right, because I knew that once I had this right, I could use it 10, 20 years from now, so it's really been a valuable process to me to get there. And now it's been about a year as well.
Fantastic. And you mentioned this whole process took about a month, but the actual process of getting your strategy right, if you remember, you had 2 1-hour sessions. Maybe the first session was an hour and the second session was about an hour and a half. And the first session was about, and the reason why it takes such little time in this strategy process is small business owners, we know, don't have weeks to spend like big businesses do on doing strategy. So NetStripes, we went and researched 8,700 businesses to really understand the issues they were having in business. And they told us they were time poor. So we had to come up with a really innovative strategy framework where we could do this in maximum 120 minutes. Maybe sometimes we can do it faster, sometimes it takes a bit longer. So you did this in 2 sessions. In the first session, it was about getting your customer strategy right, because you've now attended the digital bootcamp, and for the current customers, they do what's called the Futurise Foundation. And because you have the knowledge, at this session, we achieve a lot. An absolutely clear idea of who your ideal customer is and who are not your customers.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
So that's something I'd like to speak to. Then we also work on how can you fine tune your services to suit your ideal customers. And then who are not our customers, and how do we make sure that we don't spend our time or waste our time focusing on these people who are not our customers. As soon as you stop doing that, you save a bunch of time.
Yes.
And our goal is to be time rich. That's why we started business, isn't it? And that session is really about that. That takes about an hour, and you might wonder how we do it. And that's how it happened. If you're watching this for the first time, Orville, after that, you had what's called the brand positioning session, which was probably about a week later, maybe 2 weeks later. And in that session, what we do is we do further work to fine tune our ideal customers. We look at our service strategy, but then we do our competitor strategy. strategy.
Yes.
Now, run us through that process, because once we do the competitive strategy, our job is to make sure that we position your brand to be to stand apart from your competition and stand much taller than your competition, because we know in every industry there's so much competition, not just in video production. So run us through that, the value of knowing your ideal customers, and before you did that, the issues you had and how you went through that process.
Yes, awesome. Just to add on to those first beginning few sessions, Dinesh, I think the reason why we were able to get those first few sessions, the reason why we were able to do those first few sessions as quickly as we could was because of the expertise that Neshrives had. Whenever I remember, I would ask a question about should we go this way or should we go that way, because the advisor already had experience again with those thousands of business owners. They knew straight away what would work. They knew straight away what the answers to my questions were, and so yes, you're right. It only took a couple of sessions to get that strategy right. And it was attributed to me knowing a little bit more about my business, but more importantly, the expertise and the experience that the advisor had from NetStripes. Now, in terms of the competitor analysis, what the process allowed me to do was really look at, what was unique for my business, what was unique for Greater Visuals as a video production business. How do I stand out? And so, not really just looking at how can we compete with our competitors or how can we one up our competitors. It's really looking at what makes Greater Visuals unique as a video production business is what was my main takeaway from that. And ever since then, I've been able to just narrow our business to creating video assets for businesses and educational institutions. We don't do weddings, we don't do, family photos, we don't do any of that. But what the competitor analysis has allowed us to do was really get our messaging right in the midst of the competition and get it right to the point where you can actually just talk to your particular clientele and your target audience and not have to compete with every single person out there.
Thank you, Orville, for that. And so from what I understand from what you just said is that you were very clear who your ideal customers were, what your focus was, and who your customers were not. And did that save you time? And what was the value of that?
It absolutely did. And you know what it allowed me to do? It allowed me to filter out the noise when it came to competition. As business owners, you look out left and right, look at everyone else, your peers and your competition, and you can sometimes feel like, I need to do this, I need to do that because they're doing this, they're doing that. But that couldn't be further from the truth. I think what this process has allowed me to do, it's allowed me to really fine tune what my offering was. What makes Greater Visuals unique? What does Greater Visuals do best to serve its customers? And having the sessions allow me to do that, help me discover that. It's definitely made me feel a bit more prepared, a bit more confident when I approach new prospects, because I know exactly what I'm offering and I know that I'm an expert in this field.
Fantastic. I love to hear those words, that it gave you more confidence, and you also that confidence made you feel that I know I'm an expert in this field, and that's so important. And as you say that, I have goosebumps, Orville, because this is why we do what we do. And what we call that process is to make sure that we bring out the core competence of our business owners. And that was the exercise we did. And for you to say that is magical for us, because our whole process is about making sure we help business owners to rediscover their core competencies, which is so valuable, because then once they do that, they are much better leaders, they're stronger leaders, and they're better operators. And as you said, I got more confidence and I operated as an expert in my industry. So that's superb. Now, having done the strategy, from 7 days of your second strategy meeting, which we call the brand positioning session, you get your online brand design. And we have world-class branding experts. They do this in just 7 working days. What was your feeling when you first got that? Because you already had a website, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So my first instance of creating my own website is, and this is, I would imagine would resonate with a lot of business owners, is you create your own website and you take a stock standard template and plug in your messaging, you plug in the visuals, and away you go, right? And it doesn't really speak about who you are and what your branding is. Now, the first time I saw the website, which was made quite efficiently and so quickly as NetStripes did, when the first time I saw the website, I immediately felt like, wow, it really speaks for my brand. My logo stands out. And the whole character of the website really leads into who we are. And it's the fact that we help businesses solve business problems using the power of video. And I could definitely see that with the branding, with the icons, with the visual elements, and also the messaging was there as well. And so my first experience was, wow, they've got it right.
Fantastic, because I love what you said there. You saw it and you thought, oh my goodness, this is us. This is us with what we are clearly articulated, and that's how you felt. Or from what you just told us, that's how I felt. Or if you may recall, I know it was a year ago. Before we went on to web development, it was that online brand design documents that you got in those 7 days. So it wasn't even a website, but it looked like a website, no doubt. It was just designed though, wasn't it?
Yes, but very accurate in terms of, our messaging. And so very helpful as well for us to picture where were we going to be.
Absolutely. So visually, in language, using images, in colors, and everything, as you say, has to work brilliantly. And you've got to make sure that your business looks world class, so that whenever somebody sees your brand online, whether it's on your Facebook page or your Instagram page, or whether it's on some industry association page, or on your website, your brand looks $1 million, and when somebody sees it, there's instant trust and credibility, and that's what the objective is. And I'm delighted that you liked it. Did you? Is that the feeling you got?
Absolutely. I think, being able to not only show how good you look, but I think getting your messaging right was key for me. I think there are a lot of websites out there that look amazing,
Yes.
But they are very general and very broad in a sense, and they don't really speak to the audience. They don't really speak to how our business can help you as a potential client. And what NetStripes has done for us, it's allowed us to actually communicate that straight away to our client, and not so much make us look like generalists or people who are just a bit here, a bit there. It's allowed us to really communicate that this is who we are, and more importantly, this is how we can help you move forward with your business.
That's correct. Thank you, Orville, for that. And also, and as mentioned, so that anybody watching, that was the online brand design. And then we take that online brand design, and then the web development needs to start. Because once you get your online brand design and the messaging is right, like Orville says, then the web development starts. That typically takes anywhere between 3 weeks to 6 weeks. It could be 2 weeks in some cases, depending on what we are doing and the speed in what the client expects. But it all depends on this project. And I think it would have taken you around that time. Or would that be fair? About how long did yours take?
That's absolutely right. I think from memory, it took about 2 to 4 weeks from my experience, which is, quite understandable and quite expected when it comes to creating a digital asset that will work for you. You want to make sure that there's enough time to actually polish it up, but at the same time, enough time for it to be efficient and to be out there straight away. So I can definitely agree to that.
Thank you, Orville. And, one of the questions I have for you is, you already had a website, and, you're running a small business. So we have to be really careful with how you invest your money. And you still had to cough up to pay for the work you did with NetStripes, where NetStripes helped you to transition your brand and your business to this digital world. How did you justify that investment? And please speak from your heart, and because I want to learn from what you say, and I would like our audience also to really understand what emotions you went through. Who else did you speak with? Did you check out? Did you get any other quotes? What did you do?
Funny enough, I actually never really got any other quotes. I only had spent what I had spent for my previous website, which wasn't actually a lot. And so for me, the way I was able to justify that was, number one, coming to the boot camps and being so convinced and being so impressed and so, being taught a lot of things about, the importance of digital infrastructure was really one of the many things that actually allowed me to make that investment. And that's the key word there as well, is it was an investment for me. It's not just another expense exercise. For me, I really saw that having this digital presence and having it done right was an investment, and in fact, a really good investment, because once we had that right, once we had that set and we spent the time and invested in this program, I knew that we could use this long term. And I knew, more importantly, of the value that it could bring our business. And so, yes, there's a cost component, like with many things, whether it's time or money. But for me as a business owner, I understood that apart from the cost and the time factor, the value that it brought my business far outweighed the cost. And so, having that mindset really allowed me to take that next step.
Thank you. And did you find it affordable? Because you're running a small business. I know also got married during the process. How did you really find that?
Oh, and that's the other thing as well, Dinesh. The beauty about NetStripes is because they've worked with thousands of business owners, they know exactly the challenges that business owners face. And one of them is cash flow. One of them is, diving in to make that investment. And the great thing about us getting to this program is, NetStripes actually allowed us to, put us on a payment plan to actually move forward with this. They allowed us an investment plan that was really suited to our cash flow. So it wasn't a big financial hit for us. And so, it was great that NetStripes afforded us to do that. And that could only be a testament to their knowledge of how business owners work and what their challenges are, but more importantly, what their opportunities are as well.
Fantastic. That's really valuable for us at NetStripes as well. Orville, that's the first time I've asked you that question, and that's very insightful. Thank you. So by this time, what has happened is you've attended the boot camp and you've got the knowledge. Right? You've done your strategy, you've got your strategy right, you've got your customer strategy right, so you know who your ideal customers are. Now you've got your messaging right. And you also mentioned now your confidence is up and you've discovered your core competencies. Now you've got your branding right and now your website is right. Then what?
So once you get that right, you actually find that the the leads that come in are actually the ones that you've written down. Once you had everything sort of lined up, you'll find that it's not about casting a big net, to getting any and every client. You find that the leads that come in, the inquiries that come in are actually the ones that you've targeted because of the fact that you have your messaging right. And, as a great example for my industry, for our business, we don't get inquiries anymore about wedding production because our website speaks about the fact that we help businesses solve their problems using video. And so, that's a great example for us, of getting our messaging right. It's allowed us to really target and really attract the clientele that we want to work with.
Fantastic. Also, once your website was launched or your new brand and new business was launched, I really don't like to call it a website because what you have at the end of that exercise is you have a digital platform to take your business forward, isn't it? Did you feel like that?
Absolutely. And that's one of the things that I learned early on at the bootcamp, that it isn't just about making a website or a fancy page up online. It's really getting a holistic program together so that your language and your digital presence are all intertwined and you can actually move forward with that. And you're confident that, any prospect or any lead that comes in, you can direct them to that platform that's readily available and is well thought out and is highly effective as well.
Fantastic. So now you've got this digital platform. Now I'm aware you also sat down with your strategist and you did a promotional strategy for your business. So to identify what were the best promotional channels or the social channels that you should market with, so that, because as business owners, we don't have so much time to spend all your time on social media and on all the different channels. What did you do at that stage? What were the strategies you did? Did you do any retarget advertising? Run us through that.
Yes. So the primary thing that came up for us immediately after launching the website was getting those retargeting strategies in place. And what that effectively did was it allowed people who visit our website to actually be reminded and come back and be front of mind. And so that was a really effective tool that was in our disposal to help attract those clients. The second thing was really just being targeted and being very specific about those social channels and not targeting every single social channel out there. What it allowed us to do was really get a clear insight of what social channel would work for us. In our instance, it was LinkedIn. And so being able to use that social channels to drive those leads in was super valuable for us as well.
Thank you. And could you run us through some LinkedIn strategies for the benefit of our audience? What did you do when you started? What are you doing now? What has worked for you? And how has it been?
without being biased, as a video production agency, we do focus on video, not only because it's what we do best, but it's the most effective piece of messaging that you can actually bring out there. And so what we did was we actually just created a lot of valuable content to best serve our audience. We're not here to sell anything. We're really just here to help business owners solve their problems now using what they have now, right? And so coming in with that mindset of serving your clients first, using video was key for us. We also gave our connections access to our website, whether they wanted to find out more. And so being able to provide them with the valuable content and direct them to our digital platform really allowed us to see some really great results from the platform that we've chosen.
Coming back to your business, what's really crucial is that you've really grown phenomenally. Your presence online. I watch a lot of your videos on LinkedIn, and that's where a lot of your clients are. I believe, I know for a fact, some of our NetStripes clients also use your services and love the photography you've done for them, but also the videography you've done for them. Tell us about that.
Well, I'm extremely honored that NetStripes or any business would refer business to us. I think it's a great privilege, and I think having that trust with your organization is one of the best things that's ever happened to our business. Being able to be trusted with this creative craft to help businesses succeed is such an honor. And so, coming back to my wife, she's actually the one that introduced me to you guys. So she attended the boot camp many years ago, and I remember her coming back, just raving on about how amazing this boot camp was, how engaging the speaker was, and it allowed her to just think differently about the things that she already thought about. And in that process, I sort of joined in, and same thing happened. My mind was blown, and it allowed me to think differently about marketing, not only about marketing, but about my business in general and how I would see my business. So that has definitely translated into, as you say, growth. It's been awesome. And being able to work with those clients that have trusted us with their videos as well.
Fantastic. Orville, really delighted to hear that story from you. I hadn't heard that before, of how Michelle felt and what she came and told you guys. That's amazing. Coming back to the way small businesses can use video powerfully, especially to get their message out during the pandemic. Can you share with us some instances of what you have done and what problems you've helped to resolve, so that I want our audience to get some tips that they can use in their business when even they're creating videos on their own?
First problem that typically businesses come to us isn't really what they tell us. It's the fact that the idea of being in front of a camera is quite daunting. And that's any camera, whether it's your phone or a professional setup. And really what we're trying to help businesses is understand that it's not really about them per se, how they look, how they sound. It's really about the message that they're bringing out and the value that they will be giving to the world. And so letting go, I guess, of those instances where you can be a bit insecure about putting yourself out there is one of the main things that we really help business owners understand. You as a business owner have a lot of value to bring to your audience, a lot of tips, a lot of advice. Your services are valuable, and it is super paramount for you to reach out in any means possible. And video is at the forefront of reaching out. And so getting business to understand that they have a message to share is the most important thing. The second thing is, business owners always think about, I don't know what to talk about. I'm not too sure, where to start. Business owners also have to remember that they are the best salesmen for their business. They've been running their business for a while now. They know what works and what doesn't work. They know what works when it comes to attracting a new client. They know what they're passionate about. And so I think if they start with, listing out those things that will help businesses understand, to help their clients understand why it is, their business is important, it is key to get started. I think sharing valuable advice, tips to help their customers is key. And business owners usually tend to forget that, and they get wrapped up around, the production quality and getting this camera and that camera. So those are really the two main things: is understanding that you have a message, and secondly, you're the best salesperson for the job. And all what you need to do now is take advantage of the technology that's in front of you to amplify that message.
Fantastic. Orville, again, as I mentioned earlier, I've been watching your videos on LinkedIn and they have been useful for us. Have you got any other tips?
So the other thing that I would mention as well is not just thinking about video from a marketing standpoint. When business think video, they think, social media. This my competitor is using video and therefore I should follow suit. I think if businesses start to think about using video to automate processes, creating training materials, creating pieces of content that can be used over and over again, then that's a bit of a game changer as well. And it goes away from just your traditional marketing asset to actually assets that you can use in your business, right? And so a good example that we've been able to do for a number of businesses is creating video courses. And rather than being stuck and being limited by physical interaction, as we've seen this pandemic do to us, to a lot of business owners, why not think in a way where, well, hang on, I can actually offer this service online to a number of customers worldwide. Why don't I create a video course? Why don't I condense all of my knowledge into something that I can use over and over again? Could charge for it, I could give it away for free, but essentially using video to automate that process of automate that service and bring that service worldwide is something I would encourage business owners to think about as well.
Fantastic. Thank you again. Some really valuable advice there. You've been doing some testimonial videos for some of our really valuable clients. And how important are these testimonial videos, and what's the best way to go about that?
The importance of doing these testimonial videos really lies in building that instant trust and credibility. It's one thing for you to talk about your business. It's another for you to show the outcome that your business has provided for your clients. And being able to show your clients speak highly of you and the work of you is so powerful. It allows your prospect to really think about, why you're the best choice. And so, we've been able to do a number of testimonial videos for your clients. Again, thank you so much for that opportunity. And really the value there lies in building that trust and credibility. And from a practical standpoint, once you have those assets, the possibilities are endless. You can share those videos on social media. You can share them on your website. You can share them on your email marketing campaigns. But the other side as well is, when you're proposing to new prospects and you're showing them proposal documents for them to take the next step in the sale, having those assets is so valuable in being able to convert them and get them across the line and be convinced that you're the right choice. Because there's only so much talking that we can do. I think once you're able to actually show them on video what you're capable of, it breaks a lot of barriers.
Fantastic. Orville, are you able to share with us what could NetStripes have done right through that process, or any in all of those steps in the process to help serve you better? Did we fail you at any times, or did you felt let down at any times? And please don't feel bad to say it. I know it's on camera, but we want to learn and improve ourselves. So whatever you say is going to help us.
Let me have a think about that, actually, Dinesh. I love the fact that it was a very seamless process. I love the fact that, it was heavy on strategy. The only thing I could think of right now is really, and this is obviously could be, I don't really understand the technical side of it, is maybe just giving access in terms of being able to run Google Ads or have better access to the website to tweak things. But I also understand that there's a reason why that shouldn't be the case, because there is a lot of technical back-end side of it. So I understand that while access might not be provided, and that can be a challenge, I think it is part of the process, and we just have to trust the process as well.
Right. So are you able to change images and content on there right now the way it is?
Absolutely, we can.
Right.
And the great thing is, it's a seamless process. We just send off the content to our developers, and straight away they get onto it. And that's one thing I love the most about it as well. But as part of this platform as well, Dinesh, what I really loved too was not only just being able to update the digital platform, but being able to actually speak to the advisors and just grab their pick their brain in terms of things that I find challenging, especially now when this whole situation this pandemic happened. I think the advantage of having someone to just bounce ideas off was super valuable for us. And I remember speaking to Bhavani, our advisor, and he just gave us a lot of insight that I never would have thought about. If I even had spoken to another business owner, I think speaking to an expert that has worked with thousands of business owners was really valuable for us.
Fantastic. So that's really good. Look, Orville, I want to say that it's been an absolute pleasure to have you as one of our clients, not just you, Michelle, as well. You guys have been unbelievable. You've been not just clients, you've taken part in the NetStripes community work. You've come and helped us when we ran Bizruption. Bizruption, as you know, is a free event. We need volunteers to help us to help other business owners in this process of digital transition. And Michelle was wonderful in coming and assisting us. You were unbelievable. You came and did videos for us. Some of those videos you did at Bizruption, not some of them, all those videos you did at Bizruption were all complimentary. You didn't charge us for that, and we really appreciate it. Hopefully, we have also reciprocated in some small way. I hope my team has done that, but it's been a pleasure having you doing this interview with us. Thank you, Orville.
Thank you, Dinesh. And I look forward to just helping business owners move forward in today's climate.
Fantastic. Thanks very much.